Hello, Vivian. Are you there?
Hi, teacher. I'm here.
That's great. How are you? Is everything okay?
Teacher? Sorry. I think
Hello,
I
hello.
I
Can you hear me?
yes, sorry. Now
Okay.
now I can hear you. Sorry.
All right. That's great. No, don't worry, Viviana. So we're going to start, please, the presentations with you. I don't know if you have everything ready, Viviana, so that we have time. You know that last time we finished with almost all of you, right? And it was 7:30. So it would be great if we can start now. I don't know if we have everything ready to start, Viviana.
Teacher, can you give me 5 minutes, please, or less? I will connect from my computer.
All right.
Sorry.
Don't worry. Yeah, it's okay. It's better if
I
you're
will. Yes, I
okay.
have the presentation ready, but I have to connect from my computer, and I decided to connect from my cell phone because it was uploading.
Okay,
So
don't worry. Yes,
I'm gonna
better.
to connect from there.
Okay. Okay, Vivian. I'm going to wait. In the meantime, I'm going to see if Annalise is ready so we can start with her. All right?
Okay.
Great.
Thank you, teacher.
No, you're welcome. Hello, Annalise. Are you there?
Yes, hi teacher, good afternoon.
Hello. Good afternoon. How are you? Is everything okay?
Yes, fine, thank you. And you?
That's great. Everything is fine. Thanks. Annalise, I want to know if you're ready to have the presentation right now.
Yes,
Okay, okay. If you're ready, please, I think we're going to start with you. Then after you is going to be Viviana. Are you going to share your screen, Annalise?
yes.
Okay, perfect. So let's start with you, please. We can start now, Annalise. You tell me when you're ready, when you're going to start. Share your screen, and I'm going to start with the. Before sharing your screen, sorry, I want to show you this. You both are here. You know that now we have new parameters, right? They are very similar to the ones we had. But Annalise and Viviana, I want you to see this so that you know more or less what you have to do. I mentioned this right on Friday, even then and the day before, and on Wednesday, but it's important that you have this in mind. So these are the strategies or the things that are going to be evaluated this presentation. All right. First, vocabulary. Try to use some words that you don't usually use, right? Try to apply new vocabulary that you have been learning or that you learned to have this presentation. Also, pronunciation. I know that I told you, right? When you're speaking, when you're having conversations or giving me answers, I can realize that you have some problems, perhaps very little problems, but you have perhaps one little thing that you have to improve. And I made those corrections in the previous presentations, right? And in some other situations as well. So I'm going to take into account how that improved, right? And how you're doing with that pronunciation. And in terms of the third thing that I'm going to evaluate is linking, is how you connect the words, right? For example, WhatsApp, right? I know I'm not going to tell you to speak fast, all right? That's different. You don't have to speak fast. You just have to let things flow. Try to connect the words, right? Of course, you can have pauses. You can have some seconds and don't say anything, right? That's also possible. Don't worry. But with linking, I'm going to see when you link the words, I'm going to see how you do it. It's referred also to some contractions, the rhythm. I don't know if you remember the rhythm, right? In English, we have a rhythm, how you stress the words, and it's related to that rhythm and stress. I'm going to see in which part you're going to set the stress, how you're going to do it in negative sentences or simply in some words that are stressed especially, right? And this time the extra points are going to be here, Vivian and Annalise. The first one, again, this is not something I asked. This is something that can give you something extra. And I'm telling you now because you can improvise something perhaps. It's important to have an introduction, telling something, hey, right, my name is, I'm going to talk about this and that because that. Giving an introduction and try not to finish too abruptly, okay? Too immediately. Try to have a very soft conclusion, All right, try to do that. Again, this is something extra. This is not going to take points away from you. You know that. And the second thing, please, I think I have to do this. Ask questions to your partners. If you ask some question, right, to your partners, you're going to have +5 immediately. And again, you know, time doesn't have any effect, but it's important that you can time and have a 10-minute presentation. Please, if you have any questions, let me know. These are going to be the parameters for today's oral presentations. And please, now that I said this, Annelise, you can share your screen. And as soon as you're ready to start, let me know so that I can start with the stopwatch.
Teacher, sorry, these questions are for the person who is explaining.
Who's making the presentation, right? Yes, you, for example, are going to start, right? You're not going to have those extra points now. Right now, for example, Maria Elena and Viviana, they are going to listen to your presentation. After you finish your presentation, I give you some feedback, right? So if they want to earn those extra points, if Maria Elena and Viviana want to earn those extra points, they have to ask you some questions. Very simple questions related to your topic. Okay? And you can earn those extra points, Annalise, because after your presentation, Viviana is going to have hers. So when she finishes with hers, you can ask some questions and you can earn those 5 extra points. You have to ask to at least 2 or 3 partners to earn the 5 extra points. Okay?
Okay.
Great. Perfect. And again, that's after the presentation and after they finish asking you. So again, I think that's it. I have the stopwatch ready, Annalise. So when you are ready, share your screen and tell me that you're going to begin so that I start the stopwatch.
Okay.
Perfect. And also remember, please, Maria Elena, Viviana, again, pay attention to Annalise's presentation because after this, you have the chance of making some questions. Any questions related to the topic she's going to talk about, and you have the chance of earning like these extra 5 points. All right? Great.
You can see it? Teacher?
Sorry, Annalise, I was with my microphone off. Yes, I can see it very well.
Okay. And now I can see? You can see, sorry?
Yes, now is the full screen, right?
Yes.
It's perfect. All right, so give me 1 second. I'm going to be ready with this, the stopwatch. All right, remember also, Annalise, try to use your cell phone or whatever you have there to also control the time you have. This time, try to get to 10 minutes, right? Closer to 10 minutes. It's very important, okay?
Yes.
Great. So when you're ready, tell me, and I'm going to start also this.
I'm ready, teacher.
Go.
Good afternoon, teacher and mates. Today I will expose viewer styles. My name is Annelise Nirvana Guzman Ayub. I will divide my exposition in 3 parts that are introduction, difference between lager and ale beers, and lager and ale styles. Introduction. There are about 130 styles of beer around the world that are registered in VJCP that I will explain in the next slide. Within them, you can find the beers balanced toward malt that are malty, hops that are bitter, and yeast with characteristic aromas like esters that are fruital aromas, phenols, sulfur compounds, etc. BJCP. The Beer Judge Certification Program is an American non-profit organization that seeks to develop and promote knowledge, understanding, and appreciation of buyers of the various styles of beer, cider, and meat existing in the world. Within these approximately 130 styles of beers, you can find beers with a lot of colors. For example, they can be golden, amber, brown, black, and if you can see, in these images, are colors that goes to pallid yellow to really dark black beers. And there are a lot of type of colors that you can combine with the malts. There are malts that are light malts that have the principal purpose of give the alcohol to the beers, and the malts that are more toasted are for give more dark colors to the beer. We have 3 types of fermentation that are lager, wild, and ale. The lager beers are the fermentation are bottom fermentations that you have to fermentate in a range of, for example, it can be like 9 degrees to 16 degrees. And these kind of beers are more clean, have clean aromas and flavors, and are light in the mouth. The ale fermentation are that you have to manage the temperature of the fermentation for 16 and 25 degrees. And these beers are have fruity and spicy aromas and have more body than a lager. And the last one is wild fermentation, that in this fermentation, you don't use the yeast of Saccharomyces that you use in lager and ale. You can use another yeast that can be a yeast or bacteria. And the aroma or the flavors in these beers, in the mouth, they are very sour and almost vinegary, markedly dry, and somewhat raw and wild. For example, I think that it sounds bad, but I sure you that who likes it loves this kind of beers. Well, we have a lot of beers around the world. The most important are these countries that are the beginners, that are German, Belgian, England, American, and several more countries. The Germans are the best in lager beers, that can have beers that goes to light colors and dark colors, and you can have beers that can have high percentage of alcohol or minimum. The Belgium are more known with acid beers. England are more are the most important of the dark beers, for example, the porters. The American country are known for the IPA beers, that are beers that are bitter. And we have several more countries that create a lot of type of beers too. we have in these 130 beers a kind of beers that you can add fruits, spices, desserts, and whatever you can imagine. You add this type of things in the fermentation, in the maceration, or in the maturation. Difference between lager and ale beers. Well, in this image, you can see that the ale's fermentation, the yeast are in the bottom, in the top of the fermenter, and the lagers are in the bottom of the fermenter. And the first difference is that ale is made with top fermenting yeast, but lager is made with bottom fermenting yeast. The second are that ale is fermented warm, but lager is fermented cold. What I said, like I was saying, that the ale beers are, for example, for 16 and 25 degrees, and lagers to 9 to 15 degrees Celsius. The number 3 is that the lagers undergo a special cold conditioning phase, but ales do not. The ale fermentation can dure, for example, 2 weeks. 3 weeks, but the lager conditionation, it can be 1 month to 2 months. And the last one is that ales are fermented using strains of Saccharomyces cerevisiae, and lagers are fermented using Saccharomyces pastorianus. Lager and ale styles. Well, this is the table of the BJCP that all the type of beers that I was talking about are in this program. And we have like 130 styles, like I was saying. And for example, I will reading some of the type of beers. We have standard American beers to the 1 to 10 are lager beers that are, the first are standard American beer, the second are international lager. And for example, in this one that are standard American beer have 4 type of this style that it can varies for the density of the beer or the color of the beer, or more or less these things are that varies in this type of in each one of these numbers. Yes, we have chick lager that I was talking about the colors that, for example, in this have pale lager, premium pale lager, amber lager, dark lager. The differences of these are the color of the beer, and with the pale lager and premium pale lager is the density, that one have more alcohol and one not. We have pale malty European lager, pale bitter European beer, and well, this is all the styles of beer. And thank you, I finished.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to stop. It was great, right? Let's say it was 10 minutes, 40 seconds. So let me begin with the feedback. I'm going to be fast with this. First of all right, I can see that you improved a lot, right, in comparison to the last presentation, a lot. You know that because of all this presentation you have prepared and everything you have mentioned in between the presentation, I can see a very, very big improvement, Annalise. All right, so congratulations for that. the way you decided to, let's say, divide and structure a presentation helped a lot, right? Introduction, then you talk about types or styles, and it helped, right? Perhaps us, the listeners, right, to have a better idea of what we're going to expect about this presentation. Also, all those pictures, the images, everything, right, helped us understand better. At least I think I learned a lot today because I didn't know almost anything about beers. And wow, there is a really, really big number of styles, types of beers, the way they prepare these beers, right? The differences in the fermenter, as you were talking. So I find that really, really interesting. But not also that. It's really interesting, but it can be perhaps hard to understand. But you found a way to do it, right, in a very accessible way, let's say. Even using some words that are hard, let's say for someone who doesn't know that kind of terminology, you made it easier to understand. All right, so that's really, really positive. As always, all right, I'm going to copy and paste some words in the chat, and very briefly I'm going to give you my feedback. And please remember, not everybody was here, but Jaime, Maria Elena, Viviana, remember that if you have some questions, be preparing at least one, only one. If you have one question, only one question that you would like to ask Annalise. It could be about the presentation, or it could be something related to that topic. Remember that asking questions to your partners is going to give you extra 5 points. But again, it's up to you. You have to ask this to at least 2 or 3 partners. So in the meantime, this one, very quickly again, those little corrections that I have for you, please, Annalise. In terms of, let's say, vocabulary, all right, I would recommend to use this instead of, again, exposition. It's better if you say here also, only like a presentation, all right? This presentation is going to be about this, that, that. This other word only related to pronunciation. Remember that instead of introduction, it's better that do sounds like the, like introduction, right? A little bit more like introduction. Then the other word also, it's the same in English and Spanish, but in English is going to be a little bit like etc., right? Etc. That T is not going to be strong. It's going to be like etc., etc. Almost like a muted T, right? The other one, the A is going to be more like A, like various, right? Various. The other one is in terms of stress, right? Instead of images, I think you said something like that, it's going to be images, right? Images, like in the very first part, the stress. The next part you use of, and then after of, you said give. But after every preposition, you have to use ing. So instead of give, you have to say of giving, right? Of giving. After of, in, on, with, without, right? After all those prepositions, you have to use ing, the verb with ing. Again, after that, I think you correct yourself with this. You said first more clean, then you said cleaner, right? Cleaner is better there, right? Cleaner instead of more clean. Then here I was going to make the correction, but you were using like the demonyms, right? So I would do one thing. You were saying American beer, right? Belgian beer, and you were mentioning the England, but instead of England, as you're using demonyms, it's better if you say the English bird, right? The English beer. And the last part, instead of dure, right? Because we're not going to use that conjugation, you can have a duration, right? Or you can say can last to talk about time. All right, it can last 1 week, it can last 2 weeks, or it can have a duration, but it can dure, right? We're not going to say like that. All right, can last or can have a duration. And I think that's it on my part. So again, all right, this is really, really positive, Annalise. Keep it that way. The way you structure your presentation and you prepared everything was great. So I'm going to give like 1 minute to your partners. If they want to ask you some questions, please go ahead. Jaime, Maria Elena, and Viviana.
Thank you, teacher.
Hello, teacher. Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello, Maria Elena. Go ahead, please.
Well, I have a question, but I think that It is like more personal. I want to know when it start this interest about beer, Annalise.
Oh, it's great. It's a great question, Maria Elena. So, Annalise.
Okay, since 4 years ago, I had a boss when I work in Coca-Cola, and he have a factory of beer. He want to open a factory of beer, and he calls me and he said that he wants that I will his beer I don't know how can I say
you can
the
say it
head
differently,
of the factory.
Annalise. Okay, great.
And I work in here in Cochabamba are a factory of beer that called Candelaria, and I was the head brewer of this factory. So until then, I in love with the beer.
Okay. So that was the starting point, right? After that experience working there, you really loved working with beer because you're really into that kind of area, right? Because you are a food engineer, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Anybody else? I don't know, Jaime or Viviana, any other question?
Hi, teacher. Hi, Annalise. I have a question that I think is personal too. I want to know what is your favorite? Which beer is your favorite?
I have a lot, but I think that my favorite beer is the dark beers. I like the porters and stout, and some malty beers too, like the Munich Helles, that is German.
All right, perfect. I think we have it with those two questions. We're going to add more questions, after the next presentation. Again, thank you very much, Annalise. Don't forget, please, to upload this presentation in the folder with your name. All right. Also, to know the grades and the specific scores, remember, I'm going to do it in the conversations. All right. And I'm going to do it tomorrow. So try to be tomorrow to have the conversation with me. And before that, I'm going to tell you the scores and the specific details about that. All right.
Teacher, sorry. The last Monday, I told you that I didn't have the link of the file, and you told me that you going to send me, but I didn't receive any message. So
Yeah.
that is why I didn't send my presentation.
Actually, I did it, Maria Elena. I'm going to do it right now. So that's going to be everything with you, Annalise. Thank you very much again. So now, please, Maria Elena, copy and paste your email address in the chat right now, and I'm going to do it right now. Okay?
Okay, teacher. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. And in the meantime, please, Viviana, if you're ready, please, you can start sharing your screen, and we are going to continue with your presentation, please.
Hi, teacher. I'm sharing, but I can't turn on my camera. I will stop sharing for a second.
Okay. There you go. So please give me 1 second, Viviana.
Okay.
Be getting ready, and I'm going to. Oh yes, because now I can only see your camera, but right now you're going to share your screen and your camera, right?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. So Maria Elena, let me do this right now so that you can tell me if you received the invitation right now as well. So again, you know the parameters, Viviana. You've been here, you've been the first. So again, try to focus on those words, right? Vocabulary, new words that you can use, pronunciation. Be careful with those things that I corrected before, right? And in terms of this linking, the stress, the rhythm, right? Because in English, you know that this is different. Those little things are going to be evaluated, and you know the extra thing that you can take into account is the structure. If you don't have like that prepared, because I didn't tell you, right, you can simply say a very short introduction to begin with your presentation, and when you see that you have, let's say, 20 seconds or let's say 30 seconds left, try to stop and try to say, well, this was everything I decided to talk about, this, right? And try to have like a little conclusion. That's going to help you. That this is only if you want to cheat and want to earn this extra 5 points, right? So that's my advice for you and for all of you as well, if you want to earn again those extra 5 points. So Maria Elena, I'm adding you right now. And please, in the meantime, you're going to check your email and you're going to tell me if you received it, please, Maria Elena. And we can start now, Viviana, please.
Okay. Hi, classmates. Hi, teacher. Today, my presentation is about jazz dance. We're talking about jazz like dance, not like the music that probably is the most common on if you heard the music, and not everybody knows what is the jazz dance. So I'm gonna start a little bit of history. History is like similar with the music of the jazz. In the first picture, we saw the typical, here if you recognize, you see, and you see this is jazz because it's improvisation and is have to be related to the slaves, to the black people in North America. So that's the main point. The slaves, in the United States, came from Africa and from the Caribbean, and they start mixing their music with the American music. They start to dance with this type of music that were created at that moment, and they started to dance on the discos. If I want to put like in a simple way, they start to dance in the streets because they are like really happy people. So it was a way to express themselves at that moment. So in that way, these people are dancing the music of jazz. But if we want to pass to the technique of the jazz, there was a shift in the middle that that the technique of the classics dancers that was doing ballet saw these dancers and take this music and take this rhythm and take this structure of movements to put on a performance on the classes. So in the center we have the pictures of Jack Cole, that is considered the father of the jazz dance, because he was one of the first persons to pass from the classical dancer and modern dancer to the jazz dance. This have to be because he put names to the steps. He started creating and really tried to learn from these people and from this dance, and put it a lot of his dancer too. He was a classical dancer, and then the mixing of these two, how do you say, more informal and formal dancing styles, the jazz was born on like 40s and 60s, in the 90s, 1914 and 1916 approximately. I want to talk from the styles of jazz. First, we have the lyrical jazz. How, like I mentioned, the jazz was born in in a concept and in a social structure that was only used to see a classical dancer. So the lyrical jazz is the mixing of the jazz steps and the classical. So we have to see more lines in the upper body. We see lines more classic, but the feet are like parallel, not open, like in the ballet. And the first picture I want to show Susie Taylor, that it is like a really good representative of this lyrical jazz style. And in the second, we can see a class of Anabela Tuliano, that is another representative of this style, that mix the bar, that is it took from the ballet, and mix it with the jazz steps. So here we have the style that is called lyrical jazz. Then we have the theater jazz. Theater jazz, personally, one of my favorites. And this is maybe the most common. If you know something about jazz, you can see a cabaret, you can see all that jazz. You can see these Broadway hits that were in the theaters. So the main person that I want to talk about in this style is called Bob Fosse. Bob Fosse wins an Oscars from his choreography, and also because he directs a lot of films that have dance. We all know Chicago. He wrote and choreographed that hit. So it is known from his really characteristic steps. He have like hands, he used a lot of hands. We have to call the jazz hands, that is where open all the fingers. He used more structures, movement. He used really extreme faces, and he used also a lot of scenography. He was considered like one of the biggest representatives, and he was studying from Jack Cole, that I mentioned in the first part. Then we have spiritual jazz. The spiritual jazz is known for the praise, is known for the religious part, the art. We can see in the first picture that they are like with open arms. They are like always praying something, or it's like a praise with the body. These two images are from the first Black company that was in New York, that is called Elvin Ailey. This company took these rituals, we can say like that, rituals, and put formal dancers and study dancers, and make these beautiful pieces that are really known and have years that they can still perform this style of jazz. Then we have the Afro jazz. The Afro jazz is like a mixing between the Black people that dance with an instrument that it is really known from Africa, that it sounds really peculiar. That I forget the name, but you can see from the African music is the first thing that so this is the rhythm that they can follow, but they are dancers that are studying classical, or they are like structured dancers. So that is the difference with the dancers on the in Africa. If you go, you can see like they are doing in rituals and dancing with the hips loosened and all that stuff. And this took that, but add like new maneuvers and put on the stage. So that makes Afro jazz. Finally, we have the swing jazz that is really known from his legs. The most important thing on this is the legs and all the legs that they can do. It is a couple dance, but the jazz now took things from this swing jazz in the 40s and put on new choreographies, and that's what's all about. To finally my presentation, this is really important to know if you want to choreograph, be a choreographer, because or want to see an appreciation like in better detail what do you see, because if you know more about something, it's more interesting. So thank you, and I hope you enjoy.
Thank you very much, Viviana. Again, I'm stopping this, and great, right? It was almost on time. It's like 10 minutes and let's say 6 seconds, something like that. I took my time to do it. It's great. All right, it's great. Now, again, the very first time your presentation was also, I think, very well structured. And again, I can see that over that idea, you improved even more, right? I can say that you were using some interesting words. I can notice that the new words that you were applying, and perhaps you were not only reading something, you were like improvising or paraphrasing, and that's great. As I told you, right, that's what I wanted to see, that's what I wanted to hear, and you did it. All right, that's really, really positive. Again, I noticed that you were even more fluent here, and you didn't stop. You didn't think that much in the parts in which you were doubting about certain words. Perhaps in one part, right, you were trying to look for that word, but you didn't stop speaking. You didn't stop like talking. You were saying some words, trying to find it. You didn't find the word, but you continued, and that's great. All right, that's the best way you could do it, and that's the way you did it. All right, so great for that, Viviana. So the things that I'm going to be telling you, as always, with all of you, are the ones that I'm copying and pasting in the chat, as always. There you go. Some of them I know that these are not mistakes that you have. It's something that happens when you're speaking. Sometimes it sounds like that. You didn't want it to do it, but it sounds like that sometimes, right? It happens to me also. So the very first part, I listened to this. You wanted to say classic dancers, but you pronounced that as if it were like classic dancers, right? So that would be a mistake. Classic dancers without the S. Then this have to be because, right? No, it has to be, this has to be, right? Instead of have, has. Again, something that we do without wanting it. Then I want to talk, I listen to this from, right? But it will be about, right? I want to talk about in the second part. Then lines more classic, but this is because I think you found the word at the end and you said it at the end, but it will be more classic lines, right? In that order. A dancer that mix, but no, it's not, you have only two options right here. You have a dancer or a person that mixes, or a dancer or a person that mixed, right? It has to be in present with es or in past with ed, one of those. Then Chicago, and then you said he write it, right? But you are mentioning something that happened, so it would be he wrote it. Then the same here, right? He has, like, and this in terms of pronunciation, it will be like this to imagine, right? Or these two, sorry, something is missing there, is this word, these two images, right? Images. You said like the last part like images, but it will be images, right? Like a little bit. Then this one in terms of pronunciation, peculiar, right? It was very peculiar. And the last part, instead of to finally my presentation, right? To finish my presentation or to conclude my presentation. So that will be it. Again, I can see a lot of improvement. I can see that at least these two presentations showed that, and it's really something great. Okay, so Viviana, that's everything on my part, and I'm going to let now your partners ask some questions if they have. So Andrea, Annelise, Jaime, Maria Elena, if you want again, you can ask some questions, at least one per person to Viviana, please, about her presentation or something related to it.
I want to ask teacher, please.
Okay, go ahead, please, Annelise.
Viviana, which type of jazz is your specialty?
I think that my specialty is the theater jazz because it is like more structure and it's like the most knowledge I have.
Okay.
Thank you. It was really interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Annelise. Anybody else? Remember that this is going to help you. Who else wants to ask one question? At least one more, please. Okay, I'm going to ask one then. Again, I learned a lot of everything that you tell me. I learned a lot from Annelise. I'm learning a lot from you, Viviana. I know that you do also this, right? Because you are into art, you are into dancing. So of course you know these things. I'm surprised because I didn't think, right, that there were like those many kinds or styles in jazz. And at least the spiritual dance jazz was kind of wow. I didn't know that. I didn't know that there was kind of this spiritual jazz and the Afro jazz as well. So it's something like very new for me. You know all these styles. I don't know how much you know. You said that to Annelise that you have like certain knowledge about one of those. But which of those do you think is the most difficult and why?
I think that the lyrical jazz maybe is the more difficult because the ones that do this style are like classical dancers, like they pass from ballet to do this kind of jazz. So if you go, you have to know like you have to compete. No, it's not competition, but you have to be in the you have to have the body like the classical body and the lines and the leg up here, and it requires more preparation from more classical.
Okay.
So that, and then that is not my strong part, so that's more difficult for me.
All right, all right. So you really need more experience, right? Perhaps years of experience to have your body in a certain way because you have to be flexible in a certain way, right? You need to know many steps, lines, as you're saying. So it like demands more knowledge, right, and more practice from the person who wants to perhaps dance that kind of jazz. Okay, that's perfect. If no one else wants to ask something, I think we're going to be finishing here. I don't know if you have a last question or comments, Viviana, and if not, we're going to go to the next part.
No, it's everything fine. Thank you for listening.
Perfect. No, you are very welcome, Viviana, and thank you and congratulations again. So let's continue, please. Again, I want to ask if there is a volunteer. If not, I'm going to pick one.
I can go.
Go ahead, please, Jaime.
1 second, I will share.
Okay, perfect.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go. Okay. I'm ready when you want.
Perfect. Give me 1 second. I'm resetting the stopwatch. Okay, so we can start, please, Jaime. Go ahead.
Let's go. Okay. Continuing my last presentations, I will introduce you my favorite disciplines of swimming. Like I told you in the last class or last presentation, swimming has 5 disciplines. So my favorites and the ones that I practice are open water and swimming. Swimming as a competition, it began to be popular in the 19th century with with the objective of being the fastest one on break personal records and eventually world records. Swimming is the art of making displacement in the water as fast as you can. Also, in addition of all this information, swimming is one of the most complete sports in the world. Because it's one of the burns more calories and it gives you is the only exercise that will recommend you someone to heal your body. Open water, you will be asking what is open water. Open water is it's swimming on the natural bodies in the world, could be rivers, lagoons, and oceans. The first known open water competition that we know was in 1810, when Lord Byron swam from Europe to Asia in a swim in the smallest channel that we have that connects Europe with Asia. This event remarked the beginning of the modern era. Sorry, it's wrong. Right, era of open water swimming. Open water swimming are marathons made on water, like I told you. The typical distance are 5K, 10K, and 25K. These events are realized or made on rivers, lagoon, and oceans, like I told you before. Swimming events and pools. The normal events, and my last presentations, I told you that you have 5 styles or strokes, you can say that. In swimming, you have freestyle, butterfly, breaststroke, and backstroke. The regular events that you have in a competitions are 50, 100, 200, 400, 800, and 1,500 or 1,500. It's another way to say meters. That's the distance. Butterfly has 50, 100, and 200, breaststroke 2, and backstroke 2. Individual medley, they have 100. It has 100, 200, and 400 meters. There are 2 types of swimming pools: the semi-Olympic pools with sizes of 25 meters long and 50 meters width, and also 6 lanes, like you can see here in my presentation. Sorry, you have these are called lanes. So in a semi-Olympic pool, you have 6 lanes, and this is an Olympic pool, as you see in the picture. You have a 50 meter long and 25 meters width with 10 lines. Open water distance. Like I told you this before, the official distance are 5, 10, and 25K, but they are not the only ones. There are unofficial events and crazy distance like 57 and 88 kilometers swimming. Yes, swimming, not boat, it's swimming. These are very typical and very known in Argentina. We have a lot, and one of my dreams is made one of these, the 57. The name of the competition is Santa Fe Coronda. There are also challenges like more distance swim in cold water. An example is 4 degrees Celsius, and the world record was broke 2 weeks ago. A guy swam 20 kilometers on the glaciers. I don't know if that's the word, sorry. Also, they don't swim like this with a Speedo. They swim with a neoprene swimsuit. International events, we have swimming and open water are official part of the Olympic Games, the World Swimming and the World Swimming Championship. We have Olympic Games every 4 years, and they have all the events that I told you before are part of the program of the Olympic Games. And World Swimming Championship we have every 2 years, and we have all the events that I told you before in swimming, and also the 5, 10, and 25K. And the Olympics, we just have 10K. That's in open water. As you can see, and I told you before, open water, you can say, is a crazy thing to do. I made this comparison. I compare in this way. Swimming for me, it's like American football, and open water could be rugby. Because American football, you have a lot of protection. It's not as hard and rough like rugby. Rugby, you don't have any protection, and you don't have any protection or anything, and we just have to use like what you have. And open water is like that. You have the cold water, you have current sometimes if it's a river or an ocean, you have waves, salty water. So there are a lot of things that make this discipline very hard. And we have had a lot of experience and deaths in this sport. Two are the stories I will tell you that are the craziest ones and the most important and remarkable that we have. One was the guy was looking for win every championship that he swam. This was our world record holder and a national champion and world champion. And he was swimming one day on the Abu Dhabi, and he didn't want to hydrate his body, because you have the opportunity to hydrate like in running marathons, because he wanted to break our world record. So he never stopped to drink water, so he dehydrated his body and he passed out and he drowned. And at the end of the event, they were looking for him. They weren't be able to find him, and they will find his body at the bottom of the ocean. The other one is very hard. It was an 88 kilometers competition. The name of the competition is Hernandarias Paraná. This is in Argentina. And one day, this is in a river, Paraná River. So they have to have an authorization for FINA to make the event, because this river is so big that they have ships, very big ships in the water. So as you know, as you get closer to a ship, it can pull you down to the boat. So they didn't have an authorization, but one of the judges that was not a FINA judge signed, and they start the competition. So they were swimming, the current was really bad, and one of them, by a mistake, they get too close to the ship that was parked in the water, if you want to say in that way. And the 5 swimmers were pulled down to the ship, and they were shredded by the hélice, I don't know how to say that, of the boat, so they die. So Hernandarias Paraná is canceled since that day, and never swim in that competition again. And my experience, like at the beginning, I started doing swimming, but since 2015, I have been practicing both. The only event that I never was able to go was an Olympic game, but I have been part of Bolivarianos, Odesur, South American Games, some Pan American Games. I'm international medalist, and I represent my country. And the craziest story that I have to tell you is that I was part of the team that crossed the Titicaca Lake from Isla del Sol to Puno. We swam 100 kilometers together as a relay. We swam during the day, during the night. Was one of the hardest things that I don't want to repeat it, but it was history, and that's something that most of the people here in Bolivia don't know. But a lot of people in Peru know, because we have a TV guy aboard in the boat, so we have shots on everything. And when we finished the experience in Peru, I was named Guardián del Lago Titicaca, a guard of Titicaca Lake by the mayor of Puno. It was a nice experience, and it was one more of that I'm proud to represent my country. Thank you.
Perfect, Jaime. I think it was just like 10 minutes, right? 10 minutes, 0 seconds. Great. So thank you again. The presentation, it was great. One more time. You know, you have all this experience with speaking, which is very noticeable. The way you can express yourself, the way you can improvise, right? You have knowledge over there. You have the practice. Also, you've been telling me, right? And I would like that everybody can do this. You have and you are in contact with some friends, right? You said from the US, from the States, and you are always having conversations with them. So that's something I think that everybody needs. Of course, we don't have the chance of having perhaps someone in the States, but there is always, I don't know if you can have perhaps a group in WhatsApp, all of you, right? Elise, Andrea, Jaime, you also, Maria Elena. It would be great that you can keep in touch, right? And keep practicing English. That's the best thing you can do to gain this fluency, right? To gain this knowledge about pronunciation and all these things. So Jaime, again, you did a great job with that. The things that you showed us, well, first I'm going to start with the last thing, just like a personal, right, opinion on that. I think it's very impressive. All right, what you did is really, really impressive. And perhaps you should have been here in the news and many places. And sometimes, you know, I've seen this, and this is like a shame, right? I've seen many people bringing gold medals to Bolivia, but the only places in which we see them are in Facebook. But it should be like that, right? Because the TV is like it says like booked for
Soccer
football.
is everything in this country, and it's the worst thing that we have.
Yes, yes, and that's a shame. That's a shame. We have we mentioned this before, right? We have champions around the world, Bolivian champions, but they are not recognized here in Bolivia the way they should. So first of all, that's really impressive. All the things and the information you showed us again. I'm really shocked about the distances, right? The unofficial distances that some of those competitions have, right? 57, I think one of them, the other 88. That's a lot. And well, the depth that you mentioned, right? The second one was really like wow. But I'm going to copy and paste the things that I could. I included the words that you wanted to know. Like the first one was great, glaciers, and the second one is like a propeller. All right, it's in the chat again. So the first one is like just little thing about pronunciation. Some people say like this is era, but some others say that it's better to say this like like era, a new era. Then this is something you correct after that. You did it yourself, write it have, but then you say it has, right? Then the second part, you were talking about right past, but the ed wasn't that noticeable, right? It says he never stopped, right? But it would have better if you said he never stopped, right? And that's why that happened. All right. Then they get too close, but it would be right. They got too close, as it was past again. And the two words that you were asking, like Elise, right? Propeller and the glaciers. And that would be perfect. So again, any please, Andrea and Elise, Maria Elena, Valentina, if you have some questions, please make them. Remember that this is to have 5 extra points. Anything related to swimming, to Jaime's presentation, or something you would like to ask, please?
I have a question, teacher.
Go ahead, please, Annalise.
Jaime, what was the temperature of the lake in your 200 kilometers competition? And did you get a cramp?
You're talking about the Titicaca Lake?
Yes.
I think it was 11 or 12 Celsius degrees. I got a cramp, but I got at the end when I was after 24 hours. I did started to feel very bad. And also, as a parenthesis, and what you told me, there are a lot of people that say that there are mermaids on the lake, right? There are a lot of experience, and I had one. I saw something that I can tell you that is a mermaid, but I can explain it. Give you an explanation also. I saw something at the 4 a.m. in the morning at the lake after maybe 90 kilometers that we were swimming, I saw something very close to the guy that was swimming. I was watching the guy that was swimming because it was a relay, each one was swimming and the other one was watching him. I saw something, but I don't know. And a lot of people, like native from the Isla del Sol, they say you have to be careful with this and that. I don't believe in those things, but it happened. Something, that experience that I cannot tell you that is not real or
Okay.
not. I cannot tell you for 100% sure, but yes, that would be it.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect. Well, yeah, those things are really hard to believe, and it's like you don't believe until you see it, right? You're not sure what it is, but perhaps there are many weird things that we don't know about. Okay, great. Anybody else, please? One more question. Maria Elena, Valentina, Viviana.
I have a question. In the way of your training, how you can train for this long distance, because you can't go every day to swim long distance. What is the training? What do you have to do?
Well, today with the pandemic, it's been really difficult for me. But normally before all this happened, I used to swim 18 kilometers per day, 2 sessions, 4 hours training per day. And the worst weeks, because you divide it into weeks, you have to do like we call accumulation. So you have to make kilometers. So you have like a month that each week has almost 110 kilometers. And those are like me that are not world champions. World champions that probably made 150, 180 kilometers per day, per week. So it's a very demanding field, like I told you. And also we eat a lot. That's a lot of we need to rest, we need to sleep a lot, so it's very demanding. So normally it's that plus gym and physical training too. And also it's very psychological, because if there's one point that you don't want to do it anymore, like you just swim because you're trying too hard. Your body's not responding anymore, but your mind has to control everything.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect. So I think that's going to be it, Jaime. Again, thanks for sharing all your experience, your knowledge related to that. And it was really interesting. And well, those things are really good to know. So I'm going to tell my friends about your accomplishment, Jaime. All right, great.
Thank you,
Please.
Jose. And the other 2 presentations, I really like it. Thank you.
Perfect. No, great.
I didn't ask anything because they were asking another things, but I really like the others too.
Perfect. Great, Jaime. Thank you for letting us know. So we're going to continue. Please, we're going to have 2 more presentations. So I would like you to, I don't know, it will be Valentina, Maria Elena, or Andrea. One is going to be on Wednesday, but one of you, please, who wants to continue? Anybody? All right.
Teacher,
Maria Elena.
yes.
Perfect. Go ahead, please, Maria Elena. You can share your screen and we can start with you and continue.
Okay. Wait. I don't know if you can see me.
Yes.
I can see me. Okay. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Okay. You can see it?
Yes, Maria Elena. It's about
Okay. Yes, exactly. Well, hello everybody. Good afternoon. I'm going to talk about, in this case, Zumba. I know most of you know about this discipline, but I want to talk, and maybe you didn't know about this point that is important that most people have to know. Okay. Oh. I don't know what happened with my computer.
Okay, try to click on the screen and then change it. But it's weird.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know what happened. Wait. Okay.
Okay, there you go.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to give you an introduction about Zumba. Well, Zumba was created by the choreographer and fitness instructor Alberto Perez, but he's most known as Beto. Everything started in the mid of 1990s, and it was a result of happiness accident. Well, Beto was a instructor, aerobic instructor, so he had like to go to his class, but he forgot the type where he has all the classes, so he improvised a class with a tape, but this tape, it was just like the Latin music that we used to listen, because he is from Colombia. So he put his music, and it was merengue, it was salsa, cumbia, and reggaeton. So he started to improvise the class, and all the girls, it was like surprising, and all the girls like it. So I think this is the way. No, I don't think that was the way how Zumba start. um what else? What is Zumba? Well, Zumba is a fitness discipline that mixes aerobic exercise and rhythmic choreographies. Well, when this started, it was just the rhythm. It was just salsa, merengue, reggaeton, and what is this other one? And cumbia. But now Zumba has different kind of music, so it's beautiful. As the name suggests, these physical activities to spend as much as possible doing exercise on dynamic music. There are now several types of Zumba, of types of music, which are adapted to the need, age, and level of everyone. And in addition, Zumba has proven to be very beneficial for both body and mind. So that is one thing that is so important. Um, there is something new, a story that Beto always said when he has an introduction in some TV or something like that. He said that when this started, he moved to Miami, and he started to give classes also, and there were the place he known another two Albertos. So these two guys helped him to create this huge company, Zumba. And one thing that is so funny is that when he moved to Miami, he didn't anything about English. So the only thing that he learned, it was good afternoon, good morning, and good night, and sorry, I have to go. So it was he tell this in a class. He was making the class, and when the class finished, there was a guy who talked with him and say that he wanted to talk about this huge project that he was making, and he didn't know anything about English. So he said to this guy like, sorry, I have to go, and he didn't know anything. So this is one curious thing that he always tell, and for him it's so funny, and this was one of the reasons to learn English for him. What else? Well, exists a lot of benefit from Zumba, but I'm going to give you the 7 most important health benefit. Sorry, teacher, are you taking the time? I forgot to take the time.
Yeah, don't worry, Maria Elena. I'm doing it. I'm going to tell you right now.
Okay,
You are 5 minutes. Go ahead. 5 minutes.
okay, okay. Well, the 7 health benefit of Zumba. Well, the first one that is so important. It is a discipline, so it's so fun. The more you enjoy the exercise routine, the more like you are like sticking within. Many people say that they have so much fun dancing to that they forget they are actually exercising. The other one is a great way for lose weight. And Zumba is a powerful exercise with 700 to 1,000 calorie burn, but everything it's depend on how intense you're dancing, because there is some students in a class that is like dancing like like a zombie, and there is another one that put a lot of power. So when you are making and putting more power, you are like burning more calories. So it's you can tone your entire body. Another one it's boosts head your head heal. You're not only getting aerobic benefit, you're also getting anaerobic benefit, and the kind that you help you maintain a good cardiovascular respiratory system. Help you de-stress. Well, turning your attention to dance and away from the daily grind, it's a great way to relieve stress. So some studies show that exercise is very effective at reducing fatigue, improving alert and concentration, and exciting overall cognitive functions. The other one is improve coordination. That is, I can prove it. In Zumba, your arms and your legs are generally moving in different directions, so it's require a good deal of coordination. But for example, when you start with a class and you don't know how to move it, I think this always happen in one class, but when you are like taking another class and the time is passing in the class, it's like I don't know, it's like you have that and you start like moving if you know what another step comes. So I think we have this in our body. Well, and the other one is that make you happy every time you exercise and you realize endorphin, which trigger positive feelings throughout the body. So what else? Well, different types of Zumba. I know that you just know about Zumba fitness, and that is all that you know. But there exists another like types, another classes, another disciplines that have Zumba. And this is the one is Zumba Kids, that is from kids. The other one is Zumba Step, and most people say that it is like relieving. I don't know if I'm right to say the word. The age, the 90 age, because in the 90 age, most people making this exercise with the steps. So now this is like a combination. You're dancing and you are doing this with the steps. And the other one is Zumba toning. Toning, when you are dancing, you took this. It's like it's heavy. I don't know if it's 1 kilo. I don't know, but you're dancing. You are making your body toning. And the other one is Aqua Zumba. I think this Aqua Zumba just started in Bolivia. I know that in La Paz there is some girl who give this class, and it's so I think entertainment, and it's amazing. I know that you maybe you don't know about this, And the other one is Zumba Sentado. This is more like more strong, but you at the same way you are dancing. The other one, Zumba Gold. This is direct for elder, no, not just elder. I don't know how to say this. When you are starting something, you are the beginners. Yeah, exactly. For the beginners and the elder people. There is another one that is Zumbini. Sorry, teacher.
Yeah, just in case we are in 10 minutes, no, we are like in 11 minutes now, Maria.
Okay. There is Zumbini and it's run by Zumba. Wait, this is Zumba. Zumba now is one of the most known all around the world. Well, why I decided to talk about this topic? Because 5 years ago I decided to be an instructor by Zumba, and it changed my life. So I'm really grateful with my sister because she was the one who pushed me to start this. And I know that exist some people that want to do this because they want to gain or to make money, but with my sister we find this like a way to make a social event. So here in Bolivia yeah, 4 years ago that we make a lot of event. So it's so incredible. I don't know if you can see in this first picture, we are in a school, and all the children have a different, how is this different, how do you say this, wait, I don't know how to say this. Well, they are special.
Okay.
So yeah, and this is one of the last event that we did here in Bolivia, in Rivera Alta, and that's it. And also one thing that I want to tell you and maybe you to know, it's that not not so when you become a Zumba instructor, you have to make a certification. So you have to pay it. You have to pay to have the license. So exists many people that say, okay, I'm instructed by Zumba, but they never took this. So it's so important that you took this, because in this class that is in a day, they teach you how to do your class, because it's so important how to mixes the rhythm. Because for example, if you have a person who have some heart disease, if you put some soca, or maybe merengue, and maybe that people that person have something in her heart, I don't know, you have to know that thing. And I think it's all. I have a lot of things to talk about Zumba, but that's it really. Oh, yeah.
Okay,
That's it,
Maria Elena.
teacher.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Now, before giving the feedback and everything, please, the last two presentations are going to be on Wednesday. I'd rather that you have this, like space in which you can practice, you can have conversations, answer, expand your vocabulary, and even right improvise. That's what I want. So I'd rather have a second day of presentations than stopping you. All right. So that's what I really want. So please, Valentina and Andrea, with all of these that try to perhaps do something else with your presentations, and you're going to start on Wednesday. And when you finish that, we're going to continue with the strategies. All right. Now, Maria Elena, I really got entertained with your presentation. I didn't really know that it was like created that way. it was really funny the way the Beto, right? I think was the nickname of this person, Alberto, created this Zumba. Let's say the way it got started. by making a mistake, but it ended up being something that we all do, right, in all the gyms around the world, let's say. At least in Latin America, this is something very, very common, of course, also in the States and some other places around the world. And again, also for sharing your things, for sharing your experience, and for mentioning, right, that that's really important, that the instructors should be certified, right, qualified to give these, let's say, classes. That's really important. They need to know with what kind of people they are working with, right? They need to perhaps ask for some other papers to see if some of them have some problems, to know what kind of music they are going to play, the rhythm, the all those little details, right, about being the instructor in Zumba. And that's really, really interesting. Now, very briefly, and please be thinking, all of you, the ones who didn't ask, if you want, please, Andrea and Valentina, try to ask very short questions after I show this feedback to Maria Elena. All right, remember that those questions are going to give you extra points. And please, it would be great if you both can do it now. All right, now I'm going to copy and paste this here. I have this, and I am going to be fast with this. I'm going to, that sounded like past, but it will be like present, right? I'm going to give you, right? It sounded like gave you. In the mid of 1990s, right? It will be directly as it was written in the mid 1990s, right? Or 1990s, sorry. Then he started, it sounded like very, very soft, the last part, as if it wasn't like past, a little bit more emphasis in the ED, in the he started, he moved, right? Those little things. In one part you mentioned like the girls was, right? But it would be the girls were, right? The girls were. Then he always, as this is always, right? We need to use the S. So you mentioned like this, like he always tell, right? But it's better and it's the right way. He always tells the story, right? About what happened with that, or what he was able to answer or not, because he didn't speak English at the very beginning. That was also something kind of interesting. The pronunciation of these words, right, are hard, health, then trigger, because this is going to be like WG. So instead of try, it's going to be tree. Trigger. And there exists, one more time, the S over there. And the difference between, right, other disciplines and another discipline for singular. And that will be it. Now, please, I would like to give this time to Andrea and to Valentina. If you can ask just one question, one of you, to Maria Elena, please.
Who was your inspiration to become a Zumba instructor?
Thank you very much, Valentina.
My sister. My sister, because she was the first who became instructor. So he told me you have to become an Zumba instructor, because you have that feeling and you love to dance and you like to like keep in touch with the people or something like that. And I was like, I don't know, because I was like shy to dance in front of other people. But now I'm here. It is amazing world of Zumba.
Great, perfect. Thank you very much. Now, Andrea, what about you? One question, please, to Maria Elena, so that we can finish the class.
Okay. Hi, Maria Elena. How many times does a beginner take to learn? Not to do it well, but to do it okay. Or Zumba.
Well, I think everything depends on the people, on the person, because exist some people that can dance or have that I don't know, that move, but also exist some person that is so hard to learn. But it's like when you want to improve something, you are still doing that. So I know a lot of person that it was like something like that, and when the time passes, oh no, they're dancing like a professional. I think everything depends on the person.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Now to you all, please, I'm going to ask you just one more minute. Okay, one more minute. I don't know what happened. I cannot see the polls over here. You know, at the end of the class, we have these polls. I'm going to activate it in the website. But in the meantime, please, if you have any questions, let me know. Now, you know what's the dynamic. The next class, we're going to finish the presentations with Valentina and Andrea. You know that I'm evaluating everything in following the parameters that I mentioned before. Again, the time is not like taken into account yet, but it's really important because the last presentation, it is going to take into account. One important thing, please, that you have to know is that this Friday is going to be a holiday. All right, so we're not going to have classes like this Friday. All right, if I'm not wrong, is this one, because is if it's 21 or 22, yeah, it's something related to the new year, right? Or something related to the well, new plurinational states, right? Something like that. If it's this Friday, we're not going to have classes. I'm going to verify that, but I think it's going to be this Friday. That's why I didn't take that class into account, and we're going to finish everything on February the 1st, which is Monday. Okay, take all that into account, and I don't know, please, if you can give me this minute. If you have some questions now, please let me know. I'm going to finish this very quickly. You know that tomorrow I'm going to be like telling you all the details about the scores and everything. And if you have, again, some concerns or some questions on how to improve that specific area, that specific part, just let me know and I'm going to help you out. All right. And again, I think they did something related to this with coordination. So I'm going to ask you one last thing, please. They didn't tell me about the polls. I don't know why they are not activated because I did it. So I'm going to give you, please, one email. This happened once when Andrea was having problems, right, with the, let's say, with the poll. She wasn't able to reply. And I don't know why they took away the polls now. So I'm going to copy and paste one email address in the chat. All right. And please, what you're going to do, that's the email address of the coordinator. All right, of the coordinator. Just write to the coordinator and score and grade, right, today's class from 1 to 5, the way you always do it. Okay, just send a message and email to this email address that is in the chat right now. There you go. Please, I'm going to find out. I'm going to ask her again what happened with the post, but what you're going to do is send an email and tell, well, you can tell my name or what course you are in, and you're going to give the score from 1 to 5. 1 being very bad, right? And 5 being very good. All right? Please, that will be it. If you don't have any more questions, we're going to finish the class here. Sorry about this inconvenience, something that also I don't know. So thank you for being here. Have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow for the conversation.
Bye, teacher. Thank you.
Thank you, teacher. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.